literally look up from Chinatown because of like the buildings they're amazing. The architecture there is insane. So that's like when I bring my friends out that aren't from town, I'm like, remember to like look up too.
That was musician Ava Lynch. I'm Jeff, and this is Storied San Francisco. Every week on this podcast, you'll hear from musicians, artists, entrepreneurs, and San Franciscans from all walks of life, telling stories, sharing personal histories, and trying to put into words what makes this city so special. Welcome to episode 44, part 1. Ava has a few connections to Storied San Francisco. We know her dad, Mike Lynch, thanks to Daryl Lim. Mike was season 1, episode 47 of the podcast, and you met Daryl on season 1, episode 43. One of Ava's high school teachers, Dino Medardo Rosso, appeared this season in episode 19. Ava has been playing the drums for quite a while, considering she's only 18. In this podcast, she shares impressions of growing up in Visitacion Valley and visiting her grandma in Chinatown. She talks about finding the freedom to express herself in high school, and a show she went to at the San Francisco Rock Project, which marked the beginning of her musical journey. Here's Ava. You have the distinction of being so far the youngest storyteller on this podcast, the youngest guest. So congratulations!
Thank you so much.
Also, congratulations on graduating.
Yeah.
How did that feel?
It was nice. First. Yeah, graduating. Wow, It came all at once, like really fast, and like I don't know, like graduating.
Did you feel like? Because I remember being in high school, I was like, it's never gonna end.
Yeah, it definitely felt like that, like sophomore and junior year. But I'm gonna admit, I did like high school a lot. Like, I lived 2 blocks away from my school, so I would walk, and it was super nice. They incorporated a lot of arts into their curriculum, so it was kind of perfect for me.
Which school did you go to?
It was the San Francisco Waldorf High School.
Yes.
Yeah. Which
listeners might remember Dino Medardo Rosso.
Shout out.
He was a teacher
the best,
there. And
literally.
Someone,
Yeah, literally, actually the best.
Yeah. Tell me about your early life in San Francisco. Like some of your first memories or some of your first best memories.
I remember freeways going so much faster, getting driven into downtown and just being it would be so much faster to get to places, like even just a couple more years ago. Where my dad works, not as much foot traffic, it was an alleyway basically back then, nobody would go down there.
But the ballpark was already open.
Yeah, it was already open. So there was some foot traffic in that, but other than that, no, not really. Yeah, growing up here.
Did you grow up in this house?
No, I didn't. I actually grew up in Visitacion Valley, in that, not Excelsior, kind of near Excelsior, actually. Mm-hmm. In that area. Mm-hmm. So we would have to, it was, in San Francisco, but you had to, get a little drive-in to actually get into, downtown and stuff. And
right.
Yeah.
Did you like the neighborhood?
I did. I didn't really get to, explore much because it wasn't the safest neighborhood. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I went to preschool in Chinatown, so that was, the complete opposite from where I was, mm-hmm. and that was super funny. It was, kind of the sketchiest preschool because it was, in the heart of Chinatown, and,
right.
Just, people definitely didn't have their credentials, and that, but it was, it was fun, growing up and, seeing, Chinatown.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you still have I know that your mom grew up?
Yeah, my mom was born in Hong Kong, and then when she was 3, moved out here, so the 70s, and my grandmother still lives in the same apartment, paying her $600 rent for her giant, apartment, that she clearly doesn't keep up with, but
Yeah. If you can't be if you're paying $600, you can't be bothered to keep your place up.
You can only, yeah. I tell people that, and they're just like, "Are you joking?" Right. What?
Well, she's been there, I'm guessing, since what?
70, literally 70.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, it's really cool.
And she's still there now.
Yeah, she is.
Do you have other family in Chinatown? Or?
Nope, she's the only one. I guess my mother's uncle, I don't know what he would be associated with me. He owned a jewelry store.
Great uncle.
Yeah. So my great uncle owned a jewelry store in Chinatown as well. So we had that. Yeah.
Do you remember going there as a kid? Or?
Yeah, I did. Just a lot of jade. I remember trying on jade, and like, he always had a distinct smell to him, you know. That sort of thing.
So growing up in Visitacion Valley, you said you went to preschool in
Chinatown?
Yeah. But did Chinatown, what did you think? As a super young kid, what did you think?
Just constantly, like, being immersed in just, like, all of the shops there and, like, the culture. I could fluently, like, I could understand Cantonese back then. And, I wasn't fluent in to speak it, but I understood it completely because it was just surrounded by it the entire time. And looking at all the shops, we would walk down to this playground where like homeless people would hang out, but like the walk there, you know, we would look at all the shops and just being like in awe, you know, just complete awe. And I think like sometimes I feel like people forget to like literally look up from Chinatown because of like the buildings they're amazing. The architecture there is insane. So that's like when I bring my friends out that aren't from town, I'm like, remember to like look up too, you know. And
I mean, even the street lights in Chinatown are amazing.
The little lanterns and everything. Yeah
Cool. So so you went to preschool there. Where did you go to, I guess, elementary school?
So I went to St. Anne's, which is a Catholic school, I believe on Funston, where that Andronicos is. You know that big pink build, like it's like a giant, it's that school. And that's where I learned discipline for like the first time. Like totally, like I had to wear the uniform every day, itchy wool sweater, you know, not mean, but you know, just like one way of looking at things kind of mentality.
Strict.
Yeah, in other words, strict as hell. But I learned there to like what I definitely did not like and what I did like, and that was easy for me to decide. Just going to like a really strict school. Yeah.
Did you did you go to public school, or did you ever go to public school?
I actually never went to public school. Okay. Yeah.
So after St. Anne's,
I went to Waldorf.
Straight to Waldorf.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you must have been stoked.
It was ecstatic. You know, just like I got to wear what I want. I got to finally dye my hair. Like, just talk to people that like, you know, were interested in what I had to say. You know, and I felt like I was shut down a lot at that old school, which, you know, it made me want to rebel in a way, but I don't know, I had such like a good family, a good upbringing. I didn't feel the need to rebel at all because I had a good situation.
Yeah, you have cool parents.
Yeah,
definitely. Like if I had parents like yours, I wouldn't have had to I would still be I'd be the same person.
Yeah.
I just would have walked right into it.
Like, I am never shut down. I always like have been in like situations where my parents are like, go for it. Just do it. Like, why not? Like, why wouldn't you want to just try things out? And that has just been, I feel really privileged to have that, you know?
Yeah. So what grade were you in when you switched over to Waldorf?
So I graduated 8th grade, from that Catholic school, and then started high school.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
At Waldorf. Yeah.
And so once you got to Waldorf, you said stuff like, you know, you dyed your hair. Like,
yeah.
What other kind of changes happened?
Let's see. I feel my drumming, I just finally got to become confident, which I didn't really know that I could do back then. Like any sort of confidence I did have was like so minute, and like I didn't want to like express any sort of like rebellious energy I had because I was too afraid to, and I didn't need to. I didn't feel the need to. But other than that,
but you did already play drums?
Yeah, for a little bit,
okay.
But I feel like when I started high school, I finally got to like push myself to where I was too afraid to like push myself at all back when I was in like elementary school, you know,
right.
Afraid of what people would have to say and stuff. But once I got to high school and found people that like the same music as me and stuff, it made me feel more passionate about like music in general, and being surrounded by people that I want to be surrounded with, you know, and not taking in others' opinions as much as I did before, you know.
Would you say one of the changes, like because you did already play a little bit, one of the changes might have been that you were allowed to be more expressive?
Exactly, yeah. I found my like voice in a way, you know, which I didn't know that I had. And that's not part of any class. It's like, no, that's just the freedom literally,
to be more yourself.
Exactly. I was happy all the time. I've never been like, you know, in a weird state or anything, but somehow just surrounding myself with people that like I wanted to surround myself with just can make such a change.
Yep. You found your people.
Exactly.
Yeah. You already had your family.
Yeah.
And that's awesome.
And that's great. But you need more than that, you know?
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. So it sounds like I definitely want to talk about a little bit about you and your life, which a lot of it is schooling because of your age at this point. But then also want to talk about your music. Yeah. And so we've already kind of touched on that a little bit. But how did you get started? What happened? How did you end up behind the drum kit?
So we had a friend whose daughter was in this music program called the San Francisco Rock Project, and they invited us to a show, and I saw her play the drums, and I was like, I want to do that. Like,
what age were you?
I think I was 10.
Okay.
And like, it was so obvious that she demanded the stage, you know, like it was her, like she was in her world, and like, oh my God. And I was like, I want to do that. I want to have that confidence, you know? And then from there, I became a student at the San Francisco Rock Project, and that's where I learned to drum for the first time, and that was in 2010, I think.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, you've been there for a while.
Yeah.
Nice.
And ever since then, it's just kind of gone up, because that program was the after school program I needed.
Right.
That just like take the stress off, and just to be with people, like I said, that I wanted to surround myself with, you know?
So for me, and for people who don't know, tell us about San Francisco Rock Project, because I don't think...
So it's a nonprofit organization that teaches kids from the age of 8 to 18 how to play music. Okay. And you start out with an instrument, and then from there, you get to play in these different shows that they offer. And that can be anywhere from like punk to jazz to blues, and you get to sign up, you get to play music that like you're not usually traditionally like you would listen to or anything, but it exposes you to so much, and it did so much for me as a kid. And like, and I'm only 18, and I feel like that school or like that program, I needed that for like the really fragile years in my life when like I just didn't know what I liked and what I didn't like, and the teachers there and the program itself just helped me find my voice.
Nice.
And they do shows around San Francisco.
Do they put the bands together, or how does
yeah?
that work?
So it's like they have the like different programs. You start as like a new rocker, which is like when you're beginning to play, and then they have the season shows you can sign up for, and then house band, which is like kind of like the elite. And I remember getting the offer to be in house band, and I was like, this is it. This is the biggest
like
moment of my entire life, and I've like done it. Yeah. And then once you get to that point in house band where you can play music with kids your age without a teacher, it's the most freeing thing, and they allowed us to do that, and it was the coolest thing to have at that age.
That was Ava Lynch. Join us Thursday when Ava will talk about the band she's in today. Music for the podcast is by Otis McDonald. Film photography is by Michelle Kilfeather. You can find all our podcasts over on our website, storyteller.com. While you're there, please help support what we do by going to our store page and choosing from several different pledge levels. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and you can now subscribe to our podcast on YouTube. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, do us a favor and rate and review the show, please. And if you have any feedback or potential guests for us, our email is storiedsf@gmail.com. Thanks for listening.